So, guys, the last time Baylor went to Lubbock in 2022, the Bears shocked the Red Raiders. I was there that night. It was crazy. 45 to 17. Spoiled Patrick Mahomes night for Jones AT&T Stadium, and it was probably Baylor's best and most complete game that they played that entire season. Um, so, what are the odds of a repeat of that situation? I feel like I know the answer, but go ahead.
Well, I think it's unlikely that the Bears would win by 28 points, 4 touchdowns. I mean, you're
Agreed.
right. That was a disaster night for Texas Tech because it wasn't just the fact that they got blown out in the game, but the fact that Patrick Mahomes was back here for his Texas Tech Ring of Honor induction. So it was really much anticipated night out here. That game sold out, I want to say 3 weeks in advance, a month in advance, something like that, at a time when Tech was not selling out many games. And it was because, Patrick is coming back.
Hmm.
And so you had this big stage, eagerly anticipated night. And then it was just a disaster. I believe Bear Morton threw 3 touchdowns in that game. And Tyler Shuck, or pardon me, not touchdowns, interceptions.
Yeah.
And I think Tyler Shuck threw an interception that AJ McCarty returned for a touchdown. Um, so I don't think we're going to see a lopsided game on Saturday. I don't really think we'll see a lopsided game either way, um, because Tech has some vulnerability. Tech has some vulnerabilities, and probably the biggest vulnerability, and I wrote about it this week, is they're 130th in the FBS in pass defense. Now most of that is attributable to stuff that happened earlier, and the pass defense has been better. But that aside, they've they were inexperienced in the secondary to start the year. They lost uh, the veteran safety who was kind of the anchor of that unit for 4 years or close to it, and Dadrian Taylor Demerson. They lost two multi-year starting cornerbacks, Malik Dunlap and Rashad Williams. So they went into the year playing some young and experienced guys in the secondary. They got a very quick um, uh, what's the word they're very quickly exposed in the first game when Abilene Christian lit them up.
Hmm.
Pardon. Maverick McIver, a former Tech quarterback, lit them up for Abilene Christian as a 52-51 game.
Yeah.
And so, and then you've had a situation where probably maybe their two best defensive backs, or at least two of their best three defensive backs, have been injured. Braylon Lux, who's probably their best cornerback, has had a thigh issue that's pretty much bothered him all season. Now, he was back for the last game against Arizona, and a kid who's really looked good at free safety, Chapman Lewis, who's made a bunch of plays for him as a sophomore. He has had a hamstring issue, and he's on their questionable list for this week. And just the nature of hamstrings, uh, I'll probably be surprised if we see him on Saturday. And Sawyer Robertson, people out here obviously are very well aware of him because he was quarterback of a 12-1 Lubbock Coronado team. Tech kind of bypassed him because they liked Brandon Morton a little bit better during that recruiting cycle. But I wrote a column this week about, even though Texas Tech is 5-1 or 3-0 in the conference, the toughest part of their schedule remains. And one of the big reasons why it's the toughest part is because they're about to face the better passing teams in the conference with Baylor, with what Sawyer can do, with Josh Hoover at TCU. Uh, Iowa State has a couple of really productive receivers, and Colorado with Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter. So even though Texas Tech's 5-1 and 3-0, there's a lot of uh, there's kind of this you're going to have to upgrade your game, and you're going to have to rush the passer better and defend the pass better than did in the first half of the season.
Mm. Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think it feels weird to say after watching last year's team, but I have complete confidence in Sawyer in the pass game. Like he's going to be motivated for this game, and I have no doubt that Baylor's pass game is going to be on point. To me, this game comes down to the running game on both sides. Can Baylor stop the run? Taj Brooks is one of the best running backs in the country. He's, 100-yard per game machine. And can they stand? The last time we saw Baylor, it was giving up 260 yards and a couple touchdowns at Iowa State. So that's not the best backdrop for going into this game. And on the other side of that, Baylor's run game has been non-existent the last two games. I know coming out of the bye week, that was a big focus for the coaches, for the offensive line, all of it. And so I think for me, that's where the game is going to be won or lost. Can Baylor stop the run and establish the run? Because I think Sawyer's going to do his job, and I think Baylor is getting some pieces back in the secondary to slow down any Texas Tech passing game. So that to me, it starts up front, running the ball.
That doesn't seem to bode well for Baylor since they haven't run the ball well lately in a
Well,
while.
yeah.